Did you know that there is a so-called African Quarter in Berlin with a shocking history? Come with us, we'll show you around. One of the first streets in the quarter was called African Street. The zoo director Karl Hagenbeck wanted to build a zoo here to put people on display from Germany's colonies. Yes, you heard it right, a human zoo. It seems unbelievable, but it was actually quite a widespread practice during European colonialism. The project failed only because Hagenbeck died before the zoo could open. However, the street names remained. In other words, the African Quarter was built to showcase Germany's colonial power at the time.
But the idea was never to have mainly black people live in this area. Instead, the idea was to have an area monument.
Today, some streets are named after former colonies, while others commemorate liberation fighters or resistance movements.
What you can see here is the Mangabellplatz, or also Machi Allee next to it. So in these two cases, we have two resistance fighters and a resistance war that are being honored here.
But that was not always the case. Only 3 years ago, Mangabellplatz was called Nachtigallplatz after an imperial commissioner for West Africa. His expansion of the so-called protection forces laid the foundation for the first German genocide of the 20th century in Namibia. Over 40 years ago, some people started to call for the streets to be renamed, but others were against the renaming, so the process took a while. Today, in the so-called African Quarter, you can not only learn a lot about a lesser-known part of German history, but also find nice streets to stroll around in, many allotments, a lake, a park, and even an open-air cinema.